I just had that moment where I was like, I saw pale.
I am a ghost.
Welcome to another Swell book club. Ashley sends her regards. Is that the right thing? Apologies, that's the word, because she's not feeling very well today, so she will not be joining us, sadly.
Self-care is important.
Self-care is very important. We need to look after each other. We're going to be discussing the podcast Motherhacker today, which is very exciting. So my first question, obvious question, is what did we all think?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. It's my first time venturing into, I guess, a podcast format of storytelling. It's not something I'm very used to, but I mean, it was pretty easy to sink into, and like the episodes weren't very long, so yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it pretty much on OneDrive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh wow!
so well, back and forth from a place, and that's pretty much
I mean,
Like
I
to
did
and
the
from
same
work.
thing. I listened to it
Yeah.
to and from the tram as well, so
Yeah.
same here.
So Motherhacker is a podcast. It's about this mother of like 2 or 3 kids. Her husband's in rehab and she's dealing with lots of financial issues. And so we kind of follow her as she makes this interesting journey into the world of hacking. Like Ash, this was my first like foray into podcasts. I've actually not listened to any podcasts before. I feel like the idea for me, I feel like it was better in concept than in execution. Like there were things that weirded me out and like weird time gaps that just didn't kind of make sense. Like I spoke to Emily and Ash, I think you were there as well. We went to a local play and I was listening to it and I was like, why was there a theme song in the middle of the first episode? Like just in the middle.
I do remember discussing this, yeah.
Yes, same. Yeah.
As to why it was there. It was just this random
This was there.
song that was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can kind of understand if that was like a theme that maybe came back through the episodes, but I don't remember it doing that.
I don't think it did. Did
Nope.
it? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It came
Nope.
into other episodes, obviously, because it was the theme, but
Was it? Is that the same one we're thinking of?
No, there was just like a song that was in the middle of the first episode.
It was a bop though.
It's a tune, yeah.
But I did like, it was really cool looking at the different storytelling devices that were used, like how we had the different, like the kind of distortion whenever she was on the phone and like the vocal performances that she portrayed whenever, you know, she was performing as a character. And there was some really cool stuff like that, I thought.
I feel like whilst I do understand that, you know, it was
Lacking in some aspects, I feel like this story couldn't have been told in any other way, because I think of it in like, if you're watching like a filmed version of it, you can't really delve into the visuals of it unless you're doing
You
like
see
a
too
cut
much
version.
if it was on
Yeah.
film. Like,
But if you're reading it, it's also, you're not getting that characteristic from the voices, and because so much of it is over the phone,
Exactly.
it can't really be in any other format. So
Mhm.
that being said, I had a thought where I was like, this is not my first venture into radio dramas or podcasts or anything like that. In particular, I may have been that person who listened to Welcome to Night Vale growing up on the bus to school.
Growing up, I was already working full time when I was listening to Welcome to Night Vale.
But like, okay, well look, you know, it was my birthday last week. Give me a break.
You had to use that card, man.
Yeah, you can only use it once a year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I get it.
But you know how like halfway through Welcome to Night Vale they do actually have The Weather, which is a song. Perhaps that's like a little bit of inspiration that comes through into this.
Maybe.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
Because I mean the episodes aren't really long enough to do that for every episode, but I can understand if it's a callback.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think for me, my biggest barrier was that the protagonist was just, I found her incredibly unlikable, like
Same.
right
And
from
not
the
in-
start.
Not in a good unlikable way. Like, you know,
No,
like you can
I
have unlikable protagonists that you still want to like
Root
see
for
what
them.
happens. Yeah.
Like
I don't know, like it kind of, the whole story was set up so that we're sympathetic towards her, but she just makes all of these really awful decisions. And I'm like,
Mhm.
am I supposed to be wanting you to scam these people?
Exactly.
Like you would just scam yourself
Mm.
and we're really upset about it and you're like, that's okay, I'll do that to other people now. you know?
Yeah.
That'll make
And like
me
she
feel better.
justified it. She's like, I'll only do it to like cisgender white men. And
Mhm.
And then proceeds to do it to not cisgender white men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
She's like, my boss, okay, screw him. Who's next? Anyone. It's like, well, oh, I felt so bad. There was such a funny moment where she was talking to the principal and he's like, my one-eared cat's got an ear infection. She's like, your one-eared cat? And he's like, you see the problem here now, right? I was like, yeah, I see the dilemma. Oh,
That's
man.
not good for that cat.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, like I wanted to feel bad for the main character because I get that obviously she was forced into this position, but like it so quickly went from, oh no, she's doing this because she has to oh no, she's just taking a
She's
crap
having
ton
a
of
great
money.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
the
I
time of
do-
her life.
I do wonder if she would have been more sympathetic if she was kind of forced into it at first, and so she didn't really have a choice, but then she kind of grew to like it. Like, I wonder if my perspective would be completely different.
See, I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of the
that's true.
case from at least my perspective, but then I feel like that transition between doing it because I have to doing it because I want to was like really quick. So we
And
didn't
it
really
didn't
get to
really
see
show, like,
that.
there
Very
was-
short series though.
Yeah, true.
There was that bit later where it was showing all the times where she didn't make it work and she screwed up and she was hanging up quickly and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe if there'd been a bit more of that earlier,
Yeah,
and a bit more
yeah.
of development of getting the hang of it, because she like had that great success on like her first big one.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel
don't
like there
know.
were a lot of moments that were supposed to make you feel sympathetic towards her that she didn't take. Like, for example, her husband calling and saying, you know, I missed you, I want to talk to you, and she's like, yep, cool,
Bye.
I gotta go,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, you could have done so much more with that to really develop her character more,
Mhm.
and it just wasn't done.
Yeah. And there were points where other characters like, dude, do you even listen to your kids anymore? Like, it was obviously it was drifting from her kids as well, but she didn't really do much to try
Exactly.
and change that or salvage it.
Also, what was the point of that kid from the school who just showed up
Yeah.
every now and again?
Oh yeah,
She's like, oh, hey, I need a
The
plot
IT
device
guy.
to get on the dark web.
yeah.
Like my daughter's boyfriend, who's a
Oh
hacker,
man.
who she doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter
Yeah.
doesn't like her own boyfriend. Thinks he's gross.
I was about to just say who does, and I was like, oh, I'll just leave that.
Terrible.
It's fine.
You know what was funny though is that today I was on the phone and I got this call from a medical practice for an appointment that I'd made, and they had to get my like card details, and I was
Oh,
like,
no.
And you were like, oh,
Mm-mm.
but I was like, because they gave me enough information that I was like, I know this is legit, but I was like, I have listened to a podcast, so I know what I'm talking about. And that I shouldn't give you my personal information.
I'm fully educated now. I know
I'm
what to do.
fully educated on the subject of hacking.
Yeah.
I know the medical professionals, you guys, not legit at all.
Mm-mm.
So basically, this wasn't just a fictional thing. This was an educational practice.
This
guys.
this
Exactly.
was.
right.
Mhm.
It has informed me for my future. I gave them my contact details anyway, so
Well, you're not
next,
getting any of my money.
next time we do a Swell book club, if I've been scammed, I'll let y'all know.
Yep.
Well, then why?
Add his note. She was, and then just. Oh no.
It was pretty funny, I thought,
See,
because that's
you're
what
laughing, but
I was on the
that's me.
phone and I was like in the back of my head and I was like, but I have listened to Motherhacker. Like that was literally the thought going on in my head.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Basically, just don't trust people over the phone and always text.
Yep.
Yes.
That's why I never do phone calls because I.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
You get me.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Anti-socialism wins.
Mhm.
Woo.
What was
My
that?
phone anxiety is awful. There's no way. If I don't know the
phone
contact
calls.
number,
It ain't happening.
It's so nice in my new job at work. The phone doesn't ring at all, and it's like it's so good.
My new job, that is like the majority of my job.
Get keen.
I'm
Yeah.
usually the person calling people because I've got a lot to learn in management.
Ah.
Oh man.
I'm really interested to hear from both Emily and Ash as performers and actors. Like, I actually really enjoyed, whilst the story itself kind of bothered me, I actually really enjoyed the vocal performances, and especially the lead actress. We got to see like the diversity of her skills as an actress. I was wondering if you guys could speak to your experience as performers, whether you've done kind of audio stuff or what you kind of thought in regards to the vocal performances.
I was actually, there were a couple of occasions where I was thinking like I would have loved to just see like footage of her in the studio, like doing that. If there were any like mannerisms or anything that she just had as part of the character, even though we couldn't see them.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I really liked the way the dialogue flowed through most of the episodes. Even if I wasn't that keen on some of the storyline elements, I think like the actors were really on point with some of the dialogue, and it was really snappy, but in a good way. And I think that comedic timing really held up pretty well in a lot of parts, which I think is definitely needed, I'd assume, for most podcast storytelling forms. So yeah.
And I think that like so much of, because I think most of us have kind of had a lot of experience on film or on stage where you're actually working face to face with your fellow actor, or in this kind of podcast where they've got a lot of big name performers, that wouldn't have been the case. Like, they would have recorded their dialogue individually, maybe against someone else, but who wasn't the actual actor, seen face to face. So when you were talking about the dialogue flowing, like it brings a whole new level of respect to not just the performers themselves, but to the director who was able to bring those performances out of those actors as well, so that when it's edited in its full complexity, it does have that kind of narrative flow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is going to sound bad, realizing after what happened in the final episode. So I looked it up because the first time I heard the main character's British accent, I was like, oh, that's a bit dodgy, because it was a little bit off at times the first time she introduced it. I looked it up and she was an American actress. So I was like, okay, she's doing a British accent, that's cool. And then, given the actual what happened in the final episode, I'm like, oh crap, if that's her actual accent, that's troubling.
Just a British woman.
Yep. So I was going to ask, if we don't have anything more to say regarding, I guess, the performances, what did you guys think about the final episode in terms of, like, was she telling the truth to the FBI, or do we think she was playing it up? Are we allowed to do spoilers?
Bethany's just going like, I have no idea what just happened, but I have just finished it, and that much I can say.
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually got a bit annoyed at the ending. The whole just like with the FBI just offering her a job, and then I felt it ended abruptly.
Yeah.
And I also was like, that's how Catch Me If You Can ended, and they did it first, and that was a true story.
Glad I'm not the only one who made that connection, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought,
You just
I could
blew
be
my
wrong.
mind.
Were they trying to
Sorry.
leave it open for a second season?
Maybe.
Yeah, well,
like,
it's advertised as season 1, so there's definitely potential for a second.
that's what I was kind of hoping, because but then I was like, but it's couple of years old now, so I don't know whether.
Yeah, I think it was,
That
what,
is
2019, I think?
Yeah.
That is a bit of a problem. It's like with some of the ones that I've seen, if your radio show does not take off straight away, it just goes into the dust. You don't go again. Because sometimes it's too expensive to maintain, and you can't, especially with such big names.
Yeah.
And if no one's really advertising it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, I would, if they did a second season, I think I would listen to it, because I'm interested to find out what happens. And I think it's definitely. No, you go.
Oh, I think there's a lot you could do. Like Ash was saying, like, what if she does drop the accent one day or forget, like, to stay in character? I think, that would be cool.
And I like the kind of the bite-size like episodes that we're able to get. I think that's really good because I listened to it on my drive to and from work. So that was really good, because I could listen to an episode or two.
I like bingeable content. It's good. Yeah. But in saying that, I feel like I'm the kind of person who I'm going to say now, I'll watch it when it comes out, and then it'll come out, and then I'll be like, maybe.
I'll get around to it eventually. And then
Yeah.
class.
Dragon Age? Oh no.
Oh,
I'll get to it. I swear, I will.
Look, I've only just got Ashley into it, and it's taken a whole year. Okay, I can wait.
We got time. It's fine. Oh man.
I didn't bring it up this time. Oh, I'm so proud.
Yeah,
of
that was me this time.
But you latched onto it as soon as it entered the conversation.
I'm just gonna move on.
Yep. Oh man.
I don't know the question. Oh yeah, Ash and I were talking about this. Like, did we think she was? I've forgotten the character's name already. This is really bad.
Bridget.
Yeah.
Bridget. Ash and I were talking about, like, was she actually Bridget, or was Bridget the second identity? Was she actually Kate the whole
Yeah.
time?
That's what I'm wondering. Was she telling the FBI actually the
Was it
truth?
Kate?
And yeah, Kate.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You remember the identity more than you do the actual character who we just spent 8 episodes following.
Yeah.
What was it? Kate Foster. That was
I
it. Yeah.
finished it like a month
Yeah.
ago.
That's it. I don't know. I hadn't actually that hadn't actually occurred to me at all. But that's intriguing as a thought.
Because I kind of like that idea. I like the
Yeah.
idea of this.
'Cause it was after she told a story to the guy, you know, British guy. What's his name? Oh God, you know the one.
The
Yeah,
other
The
guy.
awkward guy
Yeah.
at company place. Yep.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
guy with the H.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah, that guy.
That's
Yeah,
his
'cause she-
full name, by the way.
H.
Guy with an H. Yeah, because she told that guy the same story as well that she told the FBI. So now I'm kind of like, is it BS or is it actually like?
But then what happened with her sister, who she was speaking in an American accent to?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Basically, this is
Yeah.
just like a theory book club now.
Mhm.
Like, forget about the actual. Let's review it. Just what's
Oh,
the
it's gone.
theory?
Yeah.
What's your head canon? Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Maybe you're supposed to overthink it.
Exactly.
That's what
True.
season 2 was supposed to be, and then they didn't make it.
Mhm.
I don't know, that's the end of that thought, don't worry.
Same.
That's a mood. Oh,
No, I was thinking about I can't remember her name, but the Russian lady who was on the phone all the time. Like,
Adam,
Kay?
Adam or
Was that
something?
it?
yeah, like I actually enjoyed her character quite a lot.
She was fun. Mhm.
He was good.
And that other guy, the IT guy, I can't remember.
Oh,
his name.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one.
But yeah, I got really
I can't
sad.
remember their names.
I can't. It's so long since I've listened to it.
Same.
But like, I really enjoyed the dynamic of that group, and I enjoyed the foley that's kind of associated with each of their like locations and where they were, and I guess the espionage kind of side of it I thought was really cool as well.
Mhm.
In that case,
Yeah.
do you think it, like, just coming back to what I was saying before, do you think it could have been in a different medium other than audio? Personally?
When I was listening to it, I saw it very visually as like a mini series,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
I
like
feel
a
that.
2 or 3 part mini series. Like in my head, I saw, the cameras panning along and someone's like typing on the computer.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then, like,
coming up with on the
Hey.
screen.
And like there was a very different like color story for like the hacker world. It was lots of like blacks and like harsh, like bluish white from like the screens and stuff, versus like her life as mum was very just like
Yeah. I hadn't actually thought about it, but I was exactly the same. Now you mention it.
like in my
Yeah.
head even
Yeah.
though like it wasn't, when I read I always see it visually in my head, but
Yeah.
considering this is my first kind of audio experience, I was surprised at how much I still saw it as a visual
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah. Without much like description of like the places or the locations or like even any of the visual things as well. It's just our mind just did that naturally. So I think it could work. It depends on I guess how it's directed, but it could. Yeah.
I'm curious, if for those especially who've not listened to radio plays and such before,
Would you, now that you've made your first foray into the world, would you do it again with another one?
I think so. I've listened to a few radio plays outside of like this podcast style, like War of the Worlds and things like that.
Mhm.
And I do enjoy it. It's not my favorite type of medium. I think I prefer reading stuff and being able to hear it with, I guess, my own voices in mind for the characters, or just watching it visually and seeing stuff happen. But I'm not opposed to it by any means. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't saying like, oh, you know, here's another one you should listen to.
No,
I'm
no,
just saying, would
But
you
yeah.
do it?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
And you?
It's definitely something I'd like to explore more because I often I listen to audiobooks on the way to work or on the way home, or you know, in lots of different, or just like if I'm walking somewhere, I'll listen to that a lot. So it's really easy to work into my kind of routine as a working adult. So I'd definitely like to, especially someone who's really interested in storytelling in lots of different forms. It's something I would like to explore and see different. I think the more you educate yourself in terms of, like, it's why we read widely and diversely from different authors. Like, if we can listen to different people in their kind of art, we can get a kind of greater understanding and respect for what's done really well. And because, like, I have critiques of this one, but I don't know, I have no context in which to place those critiques. Like, maybe that's just, like, maybe it's not a weakness in terms of, like, other ones that are out there.
I think it does depend on the story. With this one, I've listened to a couple before, and you can always, there are so many stories that lend themselves very well to the audio format, and because this one was so vast, I feel like you could have possibly done it better. Possibly. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how, because it's a professional thing and I'm not doing it, so but it's like there are many audio dramas that I would definitely say are better examples of this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So if you did want a recommendation, well, you know who to talk to.
Yeah.
What
I
about
haven't
you, Em? Would you do it?
I haven't listened to any in a while. I've listened to a few of like the Doctor Who audio dramas, and then the same people who produce those, Big Finish, also had this other series that I can't remember what it was called. I'd have to look it up. But it's basically, the concept is that Dorian Gray was a real person and Oscar Wilde knew him, but he didn't die. He's still alive and he's still hanging around and he has adventures.
Okay.
That's really cool.
That's a cool
I can't
concept.
remember anything else. The only thing I can remember is that, like, one time, like during World War II, he goes and like visits his sister, who is now like in her 70s, and she just sort of looks at him and just goes, "I fucking knew it. I knew you were up to something."
That's hilarious. I like that idea. That's really cool. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah,
that's smart.
I will try and find it and tell you what it was called.
Yeah.
Please. I really enjoyed that book club. I really enjoyed, you know, checking out a different medium that I've not explored before and sharing with people from all different kind of, like, well, people who are performers as well, to kind of get their perspective on what this was. So that was really cool. Thank you so much. Elly is going to share with us our next Swell Book Club choice.
So I'm not sure if you've noticed, we've been playing around with different formats for a book club because we don't like living up to the names. So we decided to go for something slightly different for the next time round. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard about June, the novel. So in December, they released a graphic novel version. So that's a club read, the graphic novel.
Sweet as.
Also because the movie's coming out, and why not?
It is.
Perfect timing, yeah.
I know.
I'm actually super excited for the movie. I think this could potentially be kind of the rebirth of the fantasy genre on screen. So I'm actually really interested to read and learn more about it.
Well, that's why I was thinking that the graphic novel could potentially work, because you have that visual part of it as well. But it's not a
And
movie.
isn't the actual novel like this thick or something?
It's a chunky.
Yeah.
Did I also choose the graphic novel because it was easier to read, maybe? But you know.
And I think that, like, anyone who's watching this, like, we are all friends in real life and have regular discussions outside of
Also,
the Zoom live. I think we can, like, all share that we've kind of been in this reading limbo. Like, a lot of us have been in this kind of,
Like
I don't know if
funk.
everyone's been in a slump, but it's a funk, right?
Yeah, like you'd be able to-
Yeah.
So, like, the idea of having something that's, I guess, a little bit more accessible in terms of having those illustrations, I think that's a really welcome idea for all of us right now. Just
I'm
like
very
alleviate
open
some
to
of that pressure.
Yeah.
Also,
Although my Goodreads challenge keeps telling me I'm like 4 books behind. I'm like,
Mhm.
no.
And I catch up. I'm like, yes, I'm only 1 book behind. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like a few days pass. It's like, no, it's actually 2.
no.
I set mine to like 20 for this year, and I was like, thank God I can do it. And now it's March, and I've read maybe 2 books. So
Yeah.
That's okay.
My,
That's okay.
my staff
Fine.
discount is officially kicked in as of today, so that could be dangerous.
Whee!
Oh dear.
I know it's terrible.
Oh dear. We just got so many books from our shelves.
No, ta-da!
actually, I just realized that means you're not saving money if you weren't going to buy books. It just means you're spending less, technically.
Yeah, I get paid. more.
It works.
I told Bethany I'm still gonna have the same amount of money. I'm just gonna buy more books.
That works out pretty well.
Put
Yeah.
them on the shelves.
But you know what? Now it's work research. So
Exactly.
I'm doing it for a reason.
Mhm.
I need to justify this because it's gonna get dangerous otherwise.
That's what I do whenever I watch movies or like binge TV shows and do nothing else. It's like, I'm an actor, I'm studying. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Surely I could use that excuse with Dragon Age at some point. They've got
I think so.
books.
There are books
There are
in the
books.
game.
I know there are books about the game that I've bought but not read.
I think it counts. I think
Pull
it
yourself
counts.
out, why don't you?
And on that note,
We might end it there, guys. Thank you so much
Alrighty.
for coming to another Swell Book Club. It is always lovely to see your faces. Thank you, everyone who is watching in YouTube land. If you want to chuck us a like, subscribe down below so you can check out more videos. And if you're interested, come over to our Facebook page and join the Swell Book Club because we have fun there and talk about books and storytelling. And it's a great community, and we'd love to have you. Woo!
Do it. It's fun.
Hey. It is. Trust
Thanks.
us.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
This is-
Bye.
Bye.